Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time, and in this video I have an important update about the August jobs report and some new announcements from the administration, specifically from Vice President Mike Pence about the state of the stimulus negotiations. Let's just jump right in. On your screen you'll see a tweet from Heather Long of the Washington Post. This is breaking news. The United States gained back 1.4 million jobs in August, so the official unemployment rate is now at 8.4%, and it has now fallen below 10%, and that's the lowest unemployment rate since March, but it is still one of the worst employment rates in modern history. So about 42% of the 22 million jobs that were lost as a direct result of the pandemic have come back. Here's another tweet on your screen from Heather, and Heather does point out that this is a highly uneven recovery. I've talked about the fact that this is a K-shaped recovery. Some individuals are making more money than ever, and others have been left behind. So as you can see, African American, Hispanic and younger individuals remain over 10% unemployed, and these are the unemployment rates for men, for women, for teens, for whites, for Hispanics, for Asians, and for African American individuals. You see another tweet on your screen from Heather Long that indicates that this is indeed a K-shaped recovery. And as far as telework goes, about a quarter of workers telework from home in August. So as you can see, the shift is happening within our country towards more of telework, towards more of remote work. However, 24.2 million individuals could not work or lost hours in August because their business closed. Now there's still some improvement. That's down from 31.3 million individuals in July, but that is still very high. Here's another tweet on your screen from Heather, and what is extremely notable is that 17% of the 1.4 million jobs that were added back in August came from 2020 census workers. That's really interesting. Keep in mind that these jobs are temporary. So this is the US government hiring individuals to work on the census. So 238,000 census workers. Retail started to open back up. Appliance stores, hospitality started to open back up. And more than 50% were temporary jobs. So, there is reason to celebrate, but I don't think we should be, there is reason to be optimistic because there is good news, but I think the celebrations might be a little bit premature because you can see that some of these jobs were temporary. That's where things stand right now. Here's another tweet from Heather, which says 48% of the 22 million jobs lost in the pandemic recession have returned. So this is a half recovered economy. Like I mentioned, this is a very uneven economy. This is a very uneven recovery. This is still a K-shaped recovery, and quite a few jobs that came into the marketplace in August were indeed temporary. And unfortunately, the number of permanent job losses is rising. A lot of us have lost our jobs permanently. Here's a tweet from Martha Gimbel, who is at Schmidt Futures, and this is what Martha wrote. And by the way, this was retweeted by Michelle Evermore. Martha wrote, "This is a solid number, but it's still a huge hole. Scoring is indeed starting to happen." And this indeed is accurate because this is an uneven recovery. So that's where things stand right now. A highly uneven recovery. This is a tweet on your screen from Angela Hawks, who's a deputy executive director of the Groundwork Initiative. And Angela did indeed point out that this is an accurate but wild, since 8.4% unemployment is still very high. More people remain unemployed than at the height of the Great Recession, and slowdowns in hiring suggest that we're going to be here for a while. So I think that although the numbers are optimistic, there's still a long way for us to go. And this is another tweet from Heather Long. And Heather points out that we need to have some important context about this situation from President Obama's top economist in his second term, Jason Furman. Jason Furman said an unemployment rate of 8.4% is much lower than most anyone would have thought it a few months ago. It is still a bad recession, but not a historically unprecedented event or one we need to go back to the Great Depression for comparison. So, that's some feedback from various individuals. Here's an interesting tweet from Peter Baker. And Peter Baker, just so that everyone knows, is the chief White House correspondent for the New York Times, and he's an MSNBC analyst. And Peter Baker wrote, "The economy added back 1.4 million jobs in August, but payrolls are still more than 11 million jobs below their pre-pandemic level." So payrolls are still more than 11 million jobs below their pre-pandemic level. Unemployment fell to 8.4%, down significantly from 14.7% in April and 10.2% in July. So again, there is reason to be optimistic. But there's always two sides of the story. And speaking of two sides of the story, Heather Long, here's a tweet from Heather Long that says, here are the most alarming parts of the August jobs report. Permanent job losses are rising. They hit 3.4 million in August. Permanent job losses are rising. This is frightening when you think about it. They hit 3.4 million in the month of August, the highest since 2013. So a lot of individuals are simply not getting their jobs back. In fact, let's take a look at that chart on your screen that shows you permanent job losses, and you can see the level of permanent job losses has shot up in the past couple of months. And so this is unfortunately this is where we are at right now. And again, let's take a look at the chart that shows you unemployment level, permanent job loss. And this tells you that a lot of these jobs are not even coming back. Now, meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence was interviewed on CNBC today, and President Donald Trump is obviously happy about this. Here's a tweet on your screen from President Trump. He wrote, "Great jobs numbers, 1.37 million jobs added in August. Unemployment rates fall to 8.4%. Wow, much better than expected. Broke the 10% level faster and deeper than thought possible." And Vice President Mike Pence was interviewed today on CNBC, and he said nobody wants to give direct payments to American families more than President Trump. And he also said for all those families, for all those Americans who aren't yet back to work, we need 4 more years of President Trump in the White House. That's what he wrote. Before I show you Vice President Mike Pence's clip on CNBC, let's take a look at a tweet on your screen from Jeff Stein. And as you folks know, Jeff Stein is a White House economics reporter for the Washington Post. Jeff wrote, "Jobless rate fell to 8.4%. Emboldens voices in White House saying more stimulus is unnecessary." Remember, as the jobs numbers get better, the White House strengthens its position against further stimulus, because there are a lot of Republicans who don't want further stimulus, and the White House and the administration have been trying to keep a lid on the price tag of the second stimulus. So again, as the jobless rate falls to 8.4%, this emboldens voices in the White House saying more stimulus is unnecessary, decreases odds of stimulus checks, paycheck protection program 2.0, because that is where things stand right now. And Stephen Moore, here's another tweet on your screen from Jeff Stein. He wrote, Stephen Moore, outside economic advisor to the White House today on jobs, said, "One thing that's pretty evident about this report is that it will take wind out of the sails of the Pelosi argument. We need to do a $3 trillion stimulus." And when you look at the numbers, when you look at the way things stand economically, I think this actually strengthens the administration's positions to not want to do more stimulus. And that is where we are at right now. And finally, for those viewers and subscribers who are looking for a second stimulus, here's a tweet on your screen from Jake Sherman over at Politico. And he wrote, "Interesting insight, although Kudlow has not been involved at all in negotiations." This was a statement from Larry Kudlow, the White House chief economic advisor. Kudlow says we can live with not getting a deal on stimulus relief. So where we're at right now, despite the fall in the stock market, because the jobs numbers were better than expected, the White House is going to be in a better position. In fact, Vice President Mike Pence specifically talked about it in an interview with CNBC this morning. We're going to play that interview so you can listen to Vice President Mike Pence on your own. Please comment below and let us know exactly what you think of this news, because this is the environment is changing. The ground is shifting beneath our feet in real time. And that's what I'm trying to bring to you. So please let us know in the comment section below what you think of this brand new news. Also, please share this video with friends and family members so that everyone's aware about what's going on. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Type. Please make sure you click like, you click subscribe, you enable notifications. Let's watch what Vice President Mike Pence had to say. Let's roll the tape.
You mentioned the impact of the programs in the prior relief bill and the benefit that that provided the economy in getting a lot of these businesses to add people onto their payrolls. We learned yesterday that the Democrats plan to pursue separately a bill to fund the government and a bill to provide relief. A, will the president sign a short-term bill to fund the government beyond September? And B, will the president, what is the prognosis for a relief bill if those two things cannot be combined?
You know, from very early in this pandemic, President Trump made it clear that not only were we going to marshal the full resources of the federal government, the full resources of our economy to meet this moment, to put the health of America first, but he also said we're going to spare no expense to help families and businesses large and small weather the storm of the coronavirus pandemic. And at this point, we've seen more than $4 trillion made available. The agreement reached this week by the Treasury Secretary and our negotiations team to have a continuing resolution to continue to fund the government when the fiscal year runs out at the end of this month means that now we can focus just on another relief bill. And we're continuing to do that in good faith. Look, nobody wants to give direct payments to American families more than President Donald Trump again. I mean, we sent those checks to American families. It helped people through this tough time. We want to continue the Paycheck Protection Program, which we think laid a foundation for many of the Americans that are coming off the sidelines, going back to work. We were able to preserve those job opportunities precisely because this president negotiated the Paycheck Protection Program. Those are vital programs. We want them to continue. But what we've made clear is we're not going to allow Democrats in Congress to use a coronavirus relief bill to bail out poorly run Democrat states in the country. And so we're in the midst of the negotiation, and we're going to stay focused on American families, on American businesses. But this job report today tells you that the American economy is coming back. We're going to continue those policies that are equipping Americans to make their way through this time. But we're also going to continue to take our case all across this country that we need 4 more years of exactly the policies, Kayla, that have laid the foundation for this remarkable V-shaped recovery that is taking place. I mean, think about that. I want to say this to your viewers again.
Right.
I mean, I think the Federal Reserve predicted that we wouldn't be under 10% unemployment before the end of the year. And we're at 8.4% unemployment today. I mean, we've literally cut the unemployment rate in half in just 4 months. 10 million Americans have gone back to work. I truly believe that's a testament in part to the relief efforts, but it's mostly a testament to the resilience, strength of the American people, and also the fundamental strength of this economy, which has been growing over the last 3 years, our first 3 years, but on lower taxes, less regulation, more American energy, and free and fair trade.
Okay.
Joe Biden is in Kenosha, Wisconsin yesterday and was actually bragging about planning to raise taxes on American businesses. The last thing we need as American companies, large and small, are standing back up from this pandemic is higher taxes. That's why we need 4 more years of President Trump in the White House.
So that's it, everybody. Those were comments from Vice President Mike Pence. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please click like, please share, please subscribe, please enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. Send us a text message with the word ignition or time to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list, and then you can opt out at any time. Sometimes YouTube doesn't send out notifications, so bookmark youtube.com/ignition time so you can bookmark our channel, never miss a single video. Also, you can get on our email list. Go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get on our email list. Thank you so much for watching. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video of Ignition Time. Thank you. Bye.